Președintele Trump amenință că armata americană va lovi, citez, foarte dur Iranul la noapte. Va fi a treia de bombardamente dacă se întâmplă, după ce liderul de la Washington a declarat că e dezamăgit că Teheranul nu a acceptat încă un acord între Statele Unite și Iran. Într-o postare, Trump vorbește chiar despre extinderea operațiunilor militare din Iran și citez din nou: la un moment dat vom ocupa insula Harg, alte puncte de infrastructură petrolieră și vom prelua controlul total asupra piețelor lor de petrol și gaze, la fel cum am făcut cu Venezuela. Așa sună amenințările recente ale președintelui de la Casa Albă. Ce declară secundul său vicepreședintele Vance? Că premierul israelian a înțeles niște lucruri greșit în relația cu Statele Unite. Autor J.D. Vance în interviul pentru CBS News. Da, vicepreședintele american susține că Netanyahu ar trebui să înțeleagă că, deși relația dintre cele două țări e foarte bună, interesele americane vor fi întotdeauna pe primul loc la Washington. Netanyahu promovează, și îl citesc din nou pe J.D. Vance, agresiv interesele țării sale. Iar președintele Trump l-a avertizat care sunt limitele relației cu Israelul. Acum, comentariile vicepreședintelui american apar după ce în ultimele săptămâni chiar Donald Trump a vorbit public despre nevoia ca Netanyahu să înțeleagă inițiativa președintelui de a conduce el însuși negocierile cu Iranul. Și dacă vă întrebați, se încheie până la urmă războiul din Orientul Mijlociu, ei bine, perspectivele sunt puțin optimiste. A fost a doua zi consecutiv când SUA au bombardat ținte din Iran. Riposta Teheranului a urmat aceeași rețetă, adică atacuri asupra aliaților SUA din Golf. Nu e prima dată când vedem ce se întâmplă în Kuwait sau Bahrain. Donald Trump acuză în continuare regimul iranian că amână prea mult încheierea unui acord care să pună capăt conflictului. Cum poate România să transforme idei de laborator în tehnologii care schimbă economia și care consolidează competitivitatea Europei? Ei bine, e întrebarea la care încearcă să răspundă evenimentul Boosting Frontier Research în Romania, care se desfășoară chiar acum la Universitatea Politehnica București. E acolo jurnalista Euronews, Adriana Stoian. Bun găsit, Adriana, cu invitată specială, nimeni alta decât președinta Consiliului European pentru Cercetare. Te urmărim.
Bună ziua, Claudiu! Într-adevăr, doamna profesoară Maria Leptin, președinta Consiliului European pentru Cercetare, este alături de noi și o să-mi permiteți, desigur, să trec în engleză, pentru că altfel nu o să reușim să ne înțelegem. Professor Leptin, welcome and thank you very much for being here with us. We have the European Research Council that has become synonymous with scientific excellence in all these years. Its grants are among the most prestigious and competitive in the world. At the same time, Europe faces growing global competition in research and innovation, while countries such as Romania, the widening countries, struggle with lower participation and success rates in top research programs. So I would like to start by asking you, we have only 14 ERC grantees since the program was launched in 2007. Would you look at Romania today and tell us what do you think are its biggest strengths and biggest weaknesses in research and innovation?
So, thank you for having me here. It's good to talk about this. I will start with saying that I met Minister Dimian this morning, and I was very impressed because of the commitment to create an environment to have more ERC grantees in the future. So, of course, Romania has talent. Romania has a history in research. Most of the Romanians who receive ERC grants are not working in Romania. They're working abroad. So that's not because they don't love Romania. I know from other countries, also from this one, that people love to return to their home country after they've been trained abroad as postdocs or even doing their PhD abroad or as professors abroad. So the talent is there. It clearly is there. What needs to be done is for the environment to be supportive to allow the talent to reach the level where they can acquire an ERC grant. And I've just come from the auditorium where I heard 3 of the ERC grantees. They're clearly there. And I'm also very happy to hear about efforts for those people who are already grantees or who have international experience to help and guide those who want to have a go and may not have that experience. So I see a lot of positive moves, and I really wish for Romania that this moves forward. It also requires the country to want this, and requiring the country to want this means the country has to put money into it. Those countries that are more successful, on the whole, also spend more of their national budget on research and innovation.
Yes,
There's a very strong correlation.
We do that, it's true. But one of the most striking findings in the white paper that you released in March is that countries representing roughly a quarter of the EU population receive only around 5% of ERC grants. Those are not small countries, right? It's Romania there, it's Poland there. Is this primarily a question of funding or institutional culture, or is something else?
I think it's all of the above, and possibly also something else, but those are in fact the 2 greatest roadblocks. So I won't name names here, but other countries that actually invest a reasonable amount in research and development and are large, they still don't do equally well. And one reason is that the young people who decide to return home don't find a conducive research career structure. They find that they enter a university where they themselves, as a young person, don't have much freedom. The big mega professor determines everything from space to funding to time spent on research. There may not be enough time to spend on research. We hear from other countries, yet again, that too much time has to be dedicated to teaching, even when they receive a grant. That's a problem. So we have to recognize that doing the kind of research that you're expected to do when you receive an ERC grant, and that you will have to have done to even qualify, because you have to show that you've done that kind of research, requires special conditions. It requires some security, it requires enough time on research, not all teaching, and not everybody necessarily can achieve that. So there's a lot of research that is done, it's extremely valuable. That's not ERC research. But if a country wants their young people or their more established people to get these grants, they have to support them.
So that would be an advice from you, let's say, to a university leader, that he should support the young researchers,
Yes,
establish funds for that?
To the government, to the universities, to foundations. We know of many cases where either money is spent on helping prepare applicants or is spent on those who nearly made it. so who got a very good ranking, but then didn't get the money because the ERC can't even all those proposals that are ranked as excellent. We can't fund them all because we don't have enough money. So, but then the countries can take those, either say, well, if the ERC panels say they're excellent, let's fund them. That's one option. Some do that. And others say, we'll give them funding for a couple of years to tide them over so that they can develop their ideas further. So, and I hear both from the universities, from the academy here, that there's a strong will to consider such mechanisms. And I think that would make a big difference.
Well, if we broaden the vision and
Actually, let me say, other countries have shown that these measures lead to measurable differences in their success rates at the ERC.
good, so we have examples we could
We
follow.
do have examples, big time.
Europe is competing now for talent globally. The United States remains a scientific powerhouse. China is investing heavily in research and innovation and technology. How would you assess Europe's position today in this global race?
Well, we're falling behind. You don't need to ask me. You just need to look at the numbers. You know, this is not the view of Maria Leptin. This is simple statistics. We're already spending less than the US and China. US 700 billion, China 600, and us 400. China has, although they're way ahead, said they will increase their research funding by 7%, not in one big step, no, every year a big step of 7%. I mean, they're already ahead. They'll get even further ahead. And let me point out one thing about China, which is very important about research funding in general. Increasing funding is not going to result in success tomorrow. It takes time. And if we look at China now, they're leading not only in spending money, but also in scientific discoveries, in publishing the best papers, in winning international prizes, etc., etc. They're leading. But they started this 20 years ago. They started it with exchange programs, no questions asked. They started it with inviting expats and giving them complete freedom and masses of money. So it takes time. And they are now reaping the benefits of a long-term strategy, not an overnight kill.
But recently, the European Commission announced the new ERC Plus initiative as part of the broader Choose Europe for Science vision. What kind of message do we send to the researchers all over the world?
We send the message that Europe is interested in finding ways of supporting the very best. That's whether they want to come to Europe or whether they're already here. So the ERC already provides very good grants, but there may also be ideas out there that will take longer to develop than 5 years, or that are very expensive because they need a lot of infrastructure or whatever. And so we wanted to see, this is an experiment. It's an interesting experiment. We'll conduct it for 2 years and then see. We wanted to see whether there are ideas out there, projects out there that are very competitive and very exciting and for which currently there is no funding. So we'll learn this.
If Europe wants to remain competitive in science and innovation and technology, where do you think it should invest more decisively over the next decade? Because as we have established, we should look at it in the long run.
Yes. Well, as you can guess, I will have to say in the fundamental science, because, I mean, for politicians, it's easier to say, well, look, we have all this knowledge. Let's do something interesting with it. You know, we want innovation. True, but that is they must do that. It's very important to use the scientific knowledge that we have created to solve societal problems, whether it's climate or whether it's AI or engineering or whatever. Health, of course, big time. But if we do only that, then in 5 years' time, we will have nothing to apply and nothing to innovate. So, and we see the evidence for that because for the European Innovation Council, which funds ideas to be taken to market, half of the ideas in their transition grant applications that are successful come from the ERC. So without funding that science, we would only have half the ideas. So I'm saying, let's fund more, then we have even more great ideas, and we might beat our competitors.
For decades, Europe has produced science projects, but often struggled to become a dominant power. Do you think this is a research problem, an innovation problem, a daring problem?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think a lot of it is, it's often called fragmentation. You know, the United States of America, they are United States. China is one country. Europe is a continent of individual countries, some of them very small, with different languages, different cultures, different histories. We have to do more to grow together. And that will make it easier for everything. We still don't have a European research area. We still don't have full recognition of each other's degrees. We don't have transferability of pensions. In science, that would be extremely important because we need mobility. People must go where the best conditions are, and that changes over time. So I think that's one of the main reasons.
Thank you very much, Professor Leptin, for being here with us today, and hopefully we will see each other next time with better results.
I'm sure we will. I am sure we will. I know for sure that the future for the year for Romania at the ERC is looking very bright.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Claudiu, atât de aici. Evenimentul însă continuă cu panelurile de discuții.
Adriana, mulțumim. E ora 17, doamnelor, domnilor. Urmăriți Euronews acum. PNL, condus de Ilie Bolojan, respinge actuala formulă guvernamentală propusă de Eugen Tomac și nu va da voturile necesare pentru investirea ca prim-ministru.